This platform was not originally created to be a company. It was built to accomplish a social mission, to make the world more open and connected. This is how Mark Zuckerberg, the creator of Facebook, describes the app. As technology becomes more advanced, this platform has evolved into a network of community spaces that enable members to relate on a deeper level. Facebook communities can build a collective identity and create a space where members feel comfortable using their voices. By studying the forms of interaction within these community spaces, we can take a deeper dive into what communication looks like in a more modern and digital world. Within Facebook community groups, what starts as posts and comments quickly evolves into real-life connections. Conversations can spark change, and local communities can create a space to thrive online. Hello everybody, my name is Emma Easley, and today I will be specifically exploring the Wellfleet community space, a small town located on Lower Cape Cod. I have been a Wellfleet resident my entire life, but I'm just starting to grasp the way online spaces affect my community. This area is known for its small town feel and beautiful coastal environment. And as a popular summer destination, the Wellfleet Community Facebook group serves as a vibrant crossroads where both locals and vacationers interact. But what happens when the lines between resident and tourist begin to blur? Is the Wellfleet Facebook group a place of genuine community connection, or has it become a battleground for clashing perspectives? How do the tone and content of posts shift when the summer tourists arrive in full force? As we explore the unique resident-vacationer relationship, we will delve into the various forms of membership and communication that exist in this space. How do local traditions and values hold up against the wave of seasonal visitors eager to experience Wellfleet's beauty? And are there tensions beneath the surface that threaten to disrupt this way of life? I invite you to join me as we uncover the hidden dynamics of this tight-knit community and examine how it evolves in the face of both connection and conflict. Imagine yourself logging onto Facebook on a quiet morning, a cup of coffee in hand, and entering the Wellfleet community group. Here, it's not just about sharing memes or keeping up with the latest news, it's about belonging, about being a part of something bigger, whether you've lived here for decades or just arrived for the season. This Facebook group has its own set of rules, and just as in any tight-knit town, there are guidelines that keep things civil, friendly, and focused on what really matters, the community. Whether it's about asking for local recommendations, organizing events, or simply sharing the beauty of this coastal town, there's a sense of shared responsibility to keep it welcoming and respectful. The goals and rules of the Wellfleet community space help ensure that positivity and acceptance are at the center of this group, while highlighting the values that drive the way this group operates. When you open the group, you are first met with the group's mission statement, which states, "This page is here to inform community members and friends of the community of various activities, events, and happenings in town. Members are strongly encouraged to post and comment on local events, share town photos, experiences, discuss and share town issues and viewpoints." In order to pursue this goal effectively, the group has laid out a set of rules that embrace respectful communication while also hearing a wide range of opinions. These include being kind and courteous, no hate speech or bullying, respecting everyone's privacy, and that anonymous posts are only allowed in exceptional cases only. Wellfleet as a whole only has about 3,000 year-round residents. However, there are over 11,000 members within this community. So with so many different members coming from various backgrounds, it is important to define these goals and rules to make sure the community upholds its values and operates in the way it was originally intended. As you have year-round residents and vacationers, you will see a difference in socioeconomic status, perspective, and opinions on what Cape Cod means to each individual. These rules make sure the group is used in the way it is intended, embracing diversity of opinions in a positive way. Disagreements are obviously bound to happen, but with such strict rules of communication, this ensures that the integrity of the group and the love of Cape Cod are the most important elements. There are also different participatory roles that exist within the community, including the viewer, contributor, and administrators that each play a specific part in the Wellfleet community space. As we just extensively discussed the rules and goals of the community space, it only makes sense to start with the role of the administrator. There are only 3 administrators in the entire group, and they do not usually create posts. They participate by working behind the scenes to ensure that the group adheres to the goals outlined in the mission statement and the rules section of the group. They know that discussions might get fiery, but their job is to maintain a community where all members feel comfortable and heard. Whether they have to delete certain posts, reach out to members directly, or just keep surveillance of the posts appearing in the group, the administrators ensure the group operates respectfully and keeps the love of Cape Cod at the center of its conversations. Next is the contributors. These members are the ones who create the posts and comments that keep the group active. These users create discussions by posting their personal experiences and opinions on local events that welcome other contributors to share their opinions as well. Without these contributors, there would be no conversations. These people create the content that facilitates interaction, which advances the primary objective of this group, which is to talk about Cape Cod and Wellfleet. Although these conversations may get heated, it is a testament to the passion that these users feel about the area. Last but not least is the viewer. This level of participation adheres to the goal to inform community members and friends of the community of the various activities, events, and happenings in town. These viewers may not actively converse within the group, but they still absorb the information circulating throughout the discussions. Although this role may seem relatively insignificant, I was able to speak with my mom, who is a Wellfleet local and active viewer in the Wellfleet community space. Her perspective shows that even though these members do not actively participate in the online group, their presence is still important and necessary. Here is the interview. Hi Mom, welcome to the podcast.
Hi Emma, very happy to be here.
So for the other viewers, my mom's name is Kathy, and today we will just be asking her a few questions about the Wellfleet community space. So could you describe to me how you tend to use the Wellfleet community space?
I probably pop on there 3 or 4 times a day just to see what's going on. There's a lot of useful information. There's a lot of silly information. You find a lot of the same people come on day after day, which creates a great conversation, pros and cons of each thing. And it's actually fun just to follow through with these conversations to see what's going on. Some of them it's just fun to see what people have said, and people can get a little nasty, but that's enjoyable too in a small town in the winter.
Very nice. And would you say that you're an active participant where you post and comment often?
I do not post almost ever. I don't like the idea of putting things out there that could come back to haunt me. So I just go on for information and entertainment.
Could you think of a time when you used information from the group to discuss a community issue in person with someone, since you're not an avid participant on the website?
I get together with a group of friends a couple times a week and play pickleball. We always rehash things that are going on in the community. And I hate to say, the local newspaper and Wellfleet community page are good spots to find your information. And we'll just catch up and chit chat. We know a lot of the same people. You get good information.
Would you say that the newspaper is a little bit more cookie cutter than the Facebook community space?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think, in print for the masses, you have to be a little bit more cautious about what is said and the comments that you could actually print. But then, you get to the nuts and bolts of people's opinions and ideas when you get on Facebook.
Can you think of a recent local event or issue that you used the Facebook group to stay up to date with?
A big local issue is the rebuilding of Nauset Regional High School. The region consists of 5 towns, so you have a lot of opinions varying from town to town. But one thing that, I have found in the 20 years that we have lived in Wellfleet, the schools here are amazing. The taxpayers have been pretty amazingly supportive of the children's education in this part of Massachusetts. There were a lot of different elections that had to take place in order to get the monies passed in each town. Some towns were more for it. Wellfleet always really pushed for it. But things like rebuilding of the school, COVID, dolphin strandings are huge because there's a lot of water surrounding Wellfleet, and we're a very tidal community. So the dolphins come in at the high tides and they get stranded all around Wellfleet. And through the community page, they can get notified almost immediately, which is great. And it's so wonderful to see IFAW come in and rescue these dolphins.
Could you tell me about a time when you noticed Wellfleet hospitality on display in the Facebook group? What did that look like?
Anyone in a tough situation legitimately will get the help they need from the Wellfleet community. Politics aside, everything else aside, race, religion, none of that would come into play. If there was someone in Wellfleet that needed something, no matter how small or how big, the community pulls together and makes it happen. For instance, today on the community space, the first thing I'm seeing here is Mass Appeal. Mass Appeal is a local community program where anyone can go in and get free clothes. So anything you need, coats, mittens, socks, they have it all.
What kinds of conflicts or divides have you noticed between locals and vacationers in this Facebook group?
As I've said, Wellfleet, small community, a tough one through COVID. You could get a lot of information, and then all of the tourists were coming because everyone was in lockdown, so they were all coming to the Cape because it was so much less populated and safer. And then all of the locals were bullshit because they were going to infect their children, and it turned into a big deal.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciated your time and your thoughts about the Wellfleet community space.
Yeah, and I'd love to speak again. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you. It is also important to discuss the most common forms of communication you will see throughout this group. Posts usually fall under the categories of discussion threads and promotional posts. Discussion threads are important because they allow people to connect and communicate virtually when people's real lives get too busy for socialization. Although many of these posts are lighthearted and bring people together, these posts are where you see the most disagreement and hostility as people defend their own opinions. These arguments usually occur when heated town issues or politics are brought up. For example, an expensive beach walkway was damaged after being constructed only a few months earlier. A user brought this to the Wellfleet community space to call for action and change. However, a non-local member decided to call the user ungrateful and whiny, and that they should be grateful for what they have and not complain. This example highlights how the difference between respectful disagreement and attacking other users becomes extremely evident on this platform. The original and intended message of a post can be easily lost as the conversation stems into unproductivity and hostility. I am not saying all vacationers are hostile and ignorant, rather this is just one example of disconnect this group faces as its members come from a diversity of backgrounds and perspectives. On a more positive note, however, promotional posts are an example of where locals and vacationers can come together to boost the Cape Cod economy in the months of summer tourism. These posts include restaurants or other local initiatives promoting their business within the group. For example, Hog Island, which is one of my favorite local restaurants, used the space to promote their annual Fall Fest every Saturday in the month of October. They had live music, fire pits, and seasonal drinks, which they were able to effectively advertise on the page. Coming from such a rural area, local businesses like this are the main contributor to livelihood for most of our citizens. Facebook has given these local entrepreneurs a place to expand the scope of their businesses and increase their revenue. Cape Cod businesses make a majority of their profits in the 4 months of summer, and with this influx of usually affluent vacationers, there is higher consumerism, which the Facebook community space allows these businesses to take advantage of. Visitors can join this page if they hope to make the most of their trip by finding local restaurants and activities that they might not have discovered otherwise. These posts serve as a win-win for both residents and vacationers as they both can benefit each other. I think it's important to end on this next point that just wraps up everything we've talked about by combining the topics of membership and communication. The different ways vacationers and locals participate and communicate is extremely obvious throughout the Wellfleet Facebook community space. Vacationers tend to focus on tourist attractions and restaurants, looking for information that will make their trip more enjoyable. Their questions usually focused on present needs since their stay is temporary. Also, their overall participation increases during the vacation months and pauses during the off-season. However, the opposite is true for residents, as their participation spans the entirety of the year. This proves they are more dedicated to the long-term issues in town, including school systems, local government, and town benefit projects. Year-round members are also more likely to provide advice to vacationers, as their experience makes them more valuable informants when it comes to having an enjoyable trip. And that is a wrap for today's episode. I hope you now have an understanding of how the Wellfleet community space on Facebook truly highlights the way technology can bring people together, whether you're a longtime local or a summer visitor. While the dynamic between year-round residents and vacationers definitely has its ups and downs, it's clear that the group provides a shared space for everyone to connect over one thing: our love for Wellfleet. From supporting local businesses to sharing the beauty of our town, this community space helps bridge the gap between different perspectives, fostering understanding and collaboration in the process. As our town continues to evolve, it's amazing to see how a group like this can help unite us all while embracing a wide range of opinions. Thanks for tuning in.